My first book is called Just One More. It's by Jennifer Hanson Rowling. It's about a little girl named Ruby who's 4 to 5, which is about the age group this is for, who just wants one more. One more push on the swing, one more scoop of ice cream, one more toy. Well, then when she does get one more scoop on her ice cream, it ends up toppling over. Oh no. Which leads into a natural investigation activity for us to determine how many more can she get before her ice cream actually topples over. And you can use regular manipulatives like this, or I thought it would be interesting to use um, different size blocks. We could have the narrow blocks, they could stack up in one group. Another group could have mid-sized blocks that they could stack to see how far it would go before it would topple over. And another one could have the wider blocks. And we could then chart that on the graph to find out if we get the same results. Have a couple groups do the narrow blocks, have a couple groups do the wide blocks. Did they come up with the same answer? Was it different? How different? Then we could also, another activity we could do is we could go around the room and find out objects, groups of objects. So I have 3 of these large doodle boards. So we could say, okay, if we were to get one more, how many would we have? And we could write that down and use our deconstruction with our dots alongside it. Our doodle board we have 3. If we went and bought one more, then we would have 4. So that will help us deconstruct the number 4, as well as figuring out how many one more is. What is one more? Okay. So we can also create a mini booklet where we could have like how many Ruby had for the objects that she was in the book, and then they could draw one more in there and then put that total numeral on that page. That's another thing they could do. And then the last thing is, if I had a bag, I thought it'd be really cute to get a bag. They could take one out of the bag at a time, so it would bring forth the next one, and then the next kid could come up and subitize how many is it up there, and then add one more out of the bag, unhide it. So we are only revealing the next object at a time, and it's almost like we're creating a number line with that too. It's physical. My second book is called Goodnight Numbers by Danica McKellar and illustrated by Alicia Padron. Beautiful pictures in here, by the way. Absolutely does fantastic when it comes to the illustrations. I love this book. It goes through all of the numbers, and it also goes through like a bedtime routine. It's a bedtime story. It goes through their general process of getting ready for bed every night that they're familiar with, putting on their pajamas, washing up, putting their toys away. And on every page, it has the numeral, it has the word for the number, and it also has a tens frame up on the wall in every one of these. So, which I thought, bringing forward different forms of the same number will help them. Also, in the front and in the back, we have our numerals, the number names, and in like Spanish, Mandarin, French, it has the different number names in the different languages, the Roman numerals, tallies, 10 frames, and relays back to that picture on the wall in the book. So that gives us all kinds of different ways to use our tens frame, our fives frame, that maybe they might be transitioning from a fives frame into a tens frame. This is a great transitional book for that. And again, this is pre-K kindergarten. We can count objects on the pages as we're going through, corresponding the number on the page with how many we're touching one-to-one correspondence, and connect that to the tens frame pattern. So they're seeing that more and more. They're going to understand that pattern of a tens frame. Also, we can use the 5 and the tens frame activity. Like I said, we can help with the transition or scaffold with that. So given a specific number, they can draw a familiar bedtime story, bedtime object, such as balls or squares of blankets on that. So that's another activity where they're actually using the tens frame themselves physically, not just looking at it and touching it in the book. We're using that in the classroom. We can tally up their favorite bedtime toys. Have them choose between 3 different bedtime toys, and they're raising their hand depending on, or they're choosing depending on which one they like. They can come up to the front of the board and put their tally mark on the one that they like, they prefer. And then we can talk about how is there more, one that's more, one that's less, or there are 2 that are equal to each other. And last, I thought we could do like an I Spy game. Where they search the room to collect information, have a list of objects that they're looking for in the classroom, and they're looking for them, and they're tallying up on them how many of the objects are around the room, and place those things like inside the tens frame as doing the I Spy. So you have your object, and then you have a tens frame over there, and they can place their tally marks, their dots, their little pictures inside the tens frames in order to count them around the room to go through that list. So those are my 2 books. Great books. I love them both. I would strongly suggest either one of them. Great math concepts for preschoolers and kindergartners. Thanks.